Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of New Windsor. So, we worked recently on this Portland downtown area, but we didn't start the Wharves that are really the center of Portland's downtown. This episode, we're going to be starting those. It's going to be a long project that I'll work on and off, but let's finally get those going. Hey everyone, so yeah, it's been a while since the last New Windsor episode. Sorry about that. One was meant to go out last weekend, but the tutorial happened instead. But very happy with how that tutorial turned out. Definitely check it out if you want a sneak peek of the next episode. We do a lot of expansion, and I do show it within the tutorial, at least the overview of it, from what I can recall. So yeah, that's next week. But for now, we're working here on the Wharves, which, yeah, it's going to take a long time to finish these. This is going to be the most detailed part of the city by far. So these Wharves are obviously based on the Wharves in Portland, Maine. So in Portland, there are all of these residential and commercial wharves that really make up the heart of downtown. It's not where the tall buildings are. Portland's got the taller buildings inland in the what seems like a financial district, but this area is the most, I guess, the most iconic part of Portland's. Portland's known for these wharves. It's essentially downtown Boston on steroids, and on a smaller scale, from what I can tell, really. I've only been to Portland like once, and I was there very briefly at night, but looking on Google Earth, these seem very integral to Portland, and I want to make them very integral to New Windsor. The idea with this area is it used to be the main downtown area of like an old town that just didn't see the same growth as the, downtown New Windsor area. And we'll have to come up with a name for it. So if you have any names that are based in something in real life, then you can definitely suggest them, because this is really a separate entity from downtown New Windsor, and it's really the New Windsor city as a whole. I guess it's in the New Windsor region, obviously, and it's very close to the downtown, but the idea is this whole area used to be a whole different town. I feel like I could make a whole nother series on Portland, Maine, but I feel like most of the aspects of Portland I've already captured within New Windsor, but the parts I haven't, I want to use this part of the map to be able to do that. So essentially almost making two series in one. Portland, Maine and Providence, Rhode Island, just combined into one giant package, and then using Connecticut for the rest of the coastline. That's essentially what I'm doing here, and it's turning out great. Alright, so this first wharf is really coming along great. This is probably my favorite out of the two we work on today. So the second we work on is, well, I initially based it on one in Portland, almost like copying it, but it didn't look that good because it was essentially just parking. But just to focus on this wharf for now, it's this one wharf in Portland that I'm basing it off of. So this has only got buildings on like one side and then parking on the other. And behind the buildings, in the one in Portland, there isn't all that much. It just goes straight to like a floating dock type of situation. But here I decided to just have there be concrete docks on the other side as well. So it's a little bit wider than the one in Portland. Once again, I'm just using it for inspiration, not copying it. I do add some boat docks a little bit later, and we do make a marina, which I want to make a lot more of. They look really awesome here in New England, and you can get away with not adding too many boats considering it's the autumn here in New England, in New Windsor. So you don't have to add too many boats, and it just works great. So marinas are awesome filler, so you should expect a lot more of those. We'll build one later. But this wharf, it's got, well, I'm using this brick decal as the main decal here. I do use a lot of brick decals on these wharves just because there's so much brick in Portland. It's crazy. This one wharf I'm basing it off of actually has like wood as the grounds texture, I guess, but I didn't have a wood decal downloaded and I couldn't really be bothered. So I figured for this one, I'll just go for brick, but you should expect maybe a wood one in the future. Maybe I could just use the network extensions road, the wooden boardwalk, and just copy it over and over again, and that'd probably look really good. So this seems like a pretty good time to make an announcement. So I've created a Patreon account where if you want, you could just like buy me half a coffee every month and you get early access to videos. So essentially that means New Windsor episode, whatever this is, comes out, you get the next episode. So right now, if you are a patron, just a $1 patron, you get access to the next episode of a series when it comes out. So when Calabar Beach comes out on Tuesday, you'll get you'll get access to the next episode as well. So you'll be a week ahead. No obligation. If you feel like you want to get access to the episode early or whatever, you can do that. And there's another tier for anybody who wants their name in the credits at the end of the video. But yeah, no strings attached. If you want to just give me $1, you can do so and get access early to episodes. I feel like one benefit of this will make me way more productive because I will have, one, people who are giving money, like relying on me to come out with episodes, and also, two, people who are expecting the next episode. So I have to be ahead all the time. I can't just be recording and then uploading immediately. I have to be just, on my game all the time. So this should help me keep this habit of uploading twice a week and being more productive. But yeah, so if you want the next episode of New Windsor right now, you can't wait. We do loads of expansion, like a crazy amount of expansion in the next episode. Just check out my Patreon and just like buy me half a coffee, or less than half a coffee considering I live in California. Okay, so we've only been working on one wharf this episode, but there's a whole nother wharf to go, and it's going to be huge. I realize this cinematic sequence starts with a recycled cinematic from the tutorial, but yeah, enjoy. So this other wharf is the wharf I was talking about earlier that I made and then redid. So you're gonna see my progress slowly. You see what I already built a lot here on this wharf that I don't keep. So I cut that part out of the video, but at this point I was just deciding whether or not to keep that, and in the meantime I decided to work on a marina, which I knew I was going to keep. So I will remove the stuff you see over there later. We do keep that steamship museum, even though the steamship itself might not be ultra realistic. I like the idea of having like a permanent boat right there. Like the idea, maybe it's a restaurant or something. Like there's a restaurant in Portland. I think this is a restaurant that's literally just on the water. It's a boat, and it's on this wharf that I was basing this off of, and it looks so cool. It's just surrounded by a marina with loads of, you know, cabin cruisers and yachts and stuff, and it's a really cool area. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the new music I've been using. I've exclusively been using DJ quads for, I think, the past few videos, and in the next few videos I'll probably diversify with some chill hop pretty soon, but I'm enjoying just using DJ quads music, and there's a bunch of chill DJ quads music that's a little bit more chill than this that I end up using in future episodes, but overall I'm really enjoying it, and it's going good. So if you like it, then tell me in the comments. If you don't like it, then tell me what else to use that's non-copyrighted. I mean, I feel like chill hop's the go-to. I've been using Epidemic Sound for a while, but it's just sort of getting old, and I want to use some, you know, more diverse artists. And I feel like this type of music is pretty good for that, and it's going well so far. It's also really good cinematic music, so like, it doubles as really good cinematic music and background music. Alright, so here we are working on the heart of this wharf. This wharf is, once again, not really based on any specific wharf in general in Portland. It's really wide. There are some wharves that are pretty wide in Portland, but they're all mostly just parking lots. So I just sort of went off my own instincts here, built some, really cool, quaint New England shops and stuff, as well as this big old hotel with this brick garage, which I really like. I copied the brick over from the brick garage we worked on over in the theater district. But yeah, this area is really cool. It's essentially like an actual, New England street, but right on the water, right where it should be. I feel like this is as New England as it gets. I posted a screenshot to Reddit. It's just said as New England as it gets, or something like that, and it had a lobster truck and Dunkin' Donuts, brick buildings everywhere, right in the water. It's like, how much more New England can it get? So it may not look like it, but we're about halfway finished with this wharf here. And once again, this is going to be like the main wharf within the, I guess, commercial district of downtown. When it comes to wharves, this is the one you go to, to hang out. We'll build some more wharves in the future, obviously, but most of those are going to be industrial wharves, actually. Alright, so now we're adding the detail to this wharf here. So I placed this brick post office, which I want to go back to later, because that asset is absolutely unbelievable. One of the best New England assets that's really ever come out, and I'm going to be using it a lot, even though it's pretty high in triangles from what it looks like. It's got like a high file size, so I guess it probably is. I haven't really checked specifically though, but it's just too good not to use. I'll come back to that later once we start working on it a little bit more, but right now I'm just adding trees down these lanes here. Since these are commercial buildings, I do let cars come down these streets. You don't see too many of them though, but they can park on the side of the streets. Like you see one parked over there on the brick there, and one thing, okay, so this is one of my favorite little details I added. I added all of these little curbs here, but what I also did is you'll see. So I add all these curbs, but in a second, I'm gonna raise all of the brick decals here up a little bit, so the opacity is lower on the grounds on the street, and then a little bit higher on the sidewalk. But it's seamless, and it looks so good. And it's like the same texture, except it's just brighter on the sidewalk, a little bit more vibrant, or yeah, brighter and more vibrant on the sidewalk, and it just looks great. So very happy with that little detail. So this post office building that you see me working near right here, yeah, once again, really awesome asset. I'm working on this little area here where I try to add some trees in this little vegetated area, but it didn't really turn out all that well. I end up changing it a little bit later for a Dunkin' Donuts, because of course it's New England, and when all else fails, just go Dunkin'. Alright, this was a pretty long episode. It's finally nearing its end here, so hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It really does help out a ton. And subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button. You know the deal. Every YouTuber says it now. If you want to support me or if you want to check out next week's episode of New Windsor right now, at this very moment, you can check out my Patreon, which is in the description. If you want to see screenshots that look like photos, like this one, this is a photo, not a screenshot. Actually, it's a screenshot, and I put it on my Instagram. You can check my Instagram out. That's also in the description. And you can check out my Twitter, which is in the description as well, where I post these photos too. And I also post tweets when I'm really frustrated with the game, which I've also been adding to my Instagram story as of late. But yeah, that's about it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode of New Windsor, where we work on a huge expansion project.
Side